At the very heart of the frame-making sale, and really of frame-making more broadly, is a somewhat wonky term that turns out to be absolutely critically important to why and how all of this works. And that term, or that concept, is agency, or the sense that customers have control over the decisions that they're making on behalf of their company. And the reason why that matters, again, if you unpack sort of the story and the data behind the frame-making sale, it's this idea that the single biggest driver of a high-quality, low-regret purchase is the degree to which customers feel confident in the decision that they're making on behalf of their company. But the thing about this confidence that we all have to kind of wrap our brains around that is so interesting and yet so different than how most of us think about it is it's not that customers need to be confident in a supplier or a seller or a product or a brand or your value. It's rather customers need to feel confident in themselves. Are we asking the right questions? Have we done enough research? Have we thoroughly explored alternatives? Are we aligned with each other, not on what we're trying to buy or who we're trying to buy from, but what we're even trying to do? And ultimately, if we're solving for customers, not supplier confidence, but suppliers, if we're not solving for customers' supplier confidence, but we're solving for customers' self-confidence, then it stands to reason that we have to create an environment where customers can own the decisions that they're making, that they feel like they're taking an action, not because someone told them to or they're forced into it or they had no other choice, but rather because they looked at all the alternatives and applied reasoning and decided we're going to go in that direction. They have agency. And we see this exact same phenomenon play out in all sorts of other human environments, human contexts. In parenting, for example, the idea of rather than just telling your kid what to do, you create a framework within which your kids can hopefully come to their own conclusions and make better decisions over time that they feel good about and thus feel empowered that they are now in control of sort of their environment, or at least a little bit more in control. Same thing as therapy. In a good therapy session, a therapist doesn't tell the patient what to do, but creates a framework within which hopefully that patient can come to better decisions on their own about what's right for them, through the support of this frame. And that's really what frame making is all about. And if that seems like a stretch, it really isn't, because again, at the heart and soul of the frame making sale isn't so much a selling story or a buying story. It's a human story. It's how do we interact with each other, not just as sellers and buyers, but as human beings in an environment where many of us feel, well, frankly, overwhelmed, a little out of control. And the power of frame making is to engage customers with a framework, to take something that's hard and big and overwhelming and narrow down that scope to a place where it becomes less overwhelming and much more controllable, where I feel like now I've got a better sense of what matters and why it matters based on other people like me through social proof. And someone has helped me engage with this through empathy. And now I feel like, okay, I can do this. I can navigate this process. I can prioritize these questions. I can better realize this particular result. These are the kinds of applications we explore in the frame making sale, and we help sellers with through our frame making workshops to essentially approach or engage customers in such a way that you're taking something that's big and hard and overwhelming and helping them figure out, all right, what's the boundaries of this and what am I overlooking such that now I'm in a better position with certain degrees of freedom to make my own decision as the customer, as the buyer, as the decider, and go in a direction that I feel good about because I chose it. And that's agency. And it's absolutely critical in the frame making sale. It's critical in sales because we know that is the single biggest driver of a high quality, low regret purchase.